It's all about love. It's all about loving people right where they are.
Hi, I'm John from PGP Wedding Films, and welcome to Say Yes to the Best, where we talk to the best wedding pros to help you with your wedding planning. We have new episodes every single week. We talk to a new pro every single week. So like and subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. So today I'm talking with Lynda from Daring Celebrations and Ceremonies. How you doing, Lynda?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks to you.
Good to hear, good to hear.
Yes, I'm excited.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Oh, there's so much to say. Well, our business, I say our because it's not just me, but we have an amazing team of award-winning celebrants, and we make people happy. We bring them together in love and joy. And what does that translate into? That means that we officiate the ceremony. We're the people that do it. We're the ones that make it happen. It's just a bunch of fun.
So what do you love most about what you do?
The best thing about my role is love. It's all about love. It's all about loving people right where they are in the journey, you know. The best thing about my role is I get to spoil them. I get to bring them into my home. I get to see them in their rawest forms. And eventually we get to help each other get down the aisle.
I know we've done a few weddings together, and both of the couples that we work together on are like some of my absolute favorite, the nicest people. So I think the nicest people gravitate towards you. That's like
Always.
the common denominator.
That's like I am the luckiest girl in the world, because you know what you do, what you give comes back to you, right? And so I get blessed with the best people, the best couples in my life. And that is what I think that I'm known for. People see my heart. They see my passion.
For your company, I know one thing that's really big is you say you love your couples right where they are. What does that really mean?
That means that from the very first moment of communication, when that email comes to me and I read it, they get a response from me either within minutes, because I happen to be sitting right at my desktop, right? Or within the next 24 hours, usually pretty quick. When they get my response, they feel my words. I don't have a standard canned email. I just talk to them, and they love that. And I think that what that does is it begins the relationship. And they're like, oh, I love how this person speaks. I know her communication. And that's when it starts. That's when the love story starts between me and my couples.
And how does that kind of translate throughout the process?
Throughout the process, well, I do spoil my clients. I tell folks, before you decide to hire me, let's make sure that we're in alignment. So come to my home in Newark, Delaware. We'll have coffee or cocktails. I want to know what your favorites are, what you like to drink. I mean, it really is all about hosting and giving and nurturing. And this is my personality ever since I was younger. I'm always nurturing and hosting and making people feel warm, accepted, and valued. And they feel it. As soon as they walk into my house, they feel it, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're so glad we came here because you make us feel so good. And then there's that relationship, right? It's like, ding. By the time the wedding day comes, we're like this. We're just like this, and they're like, oh my gosh, LD, we can't wait. So that's where you love them. You gotta grab them right there. You gotta connect to their heart right away. And I would not be doing this if I didn't feel it here. This is just not money making. This is heart based.
How does that help you in your kind of organizing and trying to create a ceremony for a specific couple?
Well, that's a really good question. And whenever possible, if I'm available, if I'm, say, not already booked to do another event, usually, say, a rehearsal is like the evening before or sometimes 2 nights before. If I'm not already booked, I will be at the rehearsal. And that gives me an opportunity to do two things. Number one, I get to meet and interact with the wedding party. And number two, I get to meet and interact with their family, the moms, the dads. And by the end of the rehearsal, we're all like, hey, how's it going? And they feel so much more better, so much more better. But by the time wedding day rolls around and I walk onto site, they have somebody to latch onto, and they're like, hey, LD, how's it? And they're just like, because the temperament is so different from the night before to the day of the wedding, and they just feel good. They feel good, and that carries through, and they look to me for that guidance. And I'm like, you stop thinking. In 15 minutes, you stop thinking. You just watch me, and you listen to my voice and my cues, and I'll touch your elbow, and, I'm going to cry. So, and I do have a little bit of a reputation with my grooms. Warning label. They cry.
Nothing is better than a crying groom. Nothing.
Makes for a great video, right?
Makes for a great video. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure if you put that in the title of a YouTube video, it's instant viral video.
Yeah, there you go. That would do it, right?
Yep.
But so family picks up on this. Right from the beginning, they feel your energy. They feel your energy. You smile, you're warm, you're real.
Maybe a couple doesn't really have much of an idea of what they want their ceremony to look like. How do you kind of walk them through maybe different rituals or different prayers or poems or anything? How do you help them, a couple who comes to you with nothing?
And that would be 99.9% of everybody. Some people will come to me with an idea, but most of the times I'll say, what are you looking for? And 99% of the time they say, well, we're not really religious, but we do want, some kind of maybe a faith-based. So that gives me direction on to offer like a generalized prayer. And other folks will say, we don't want mention of any type of spiritual. We want it to just be romantic and sweet and short. So then I'll say, let's do a ring warming. Let's do a hand fasting, which, by the way, those are the two most popular optional elements right now.
Really?
Yeah. And I tell them, I give them the list of, here's all the things we can do. We can do a wine ceremony, which is, by the way, substituted for beer or scotch these days. It's whatever tastes. We can do a rose ceremony. We can do a sand ceremony. We can do so many things, but don't pick one just because it's there. It's got to hit you. It's got to hit you and resonate with you. You don't want to just do it.
How do you work in specific cultural elements that a couple may have? That what do you do to kind of make that part of the ceremony?
A lot of research and a lot of interaction with my bride and groom. And this is one of the coolest aspects of what I do. And it's giving me goals. It's giving me more goals to learn. But for instance, a few years ago, I started incorporating Jewish and Christian type ceremonies. So I'm finding myself not only learning how to read prayers in Hebrew, but I'm getting the pronunciation correct. Now I can recommend to other couples that come to me, oh, well, here's part of the ceremony that we could do this or we could do this. I'm starting to learn that, and I have a lot of books that I use to research and refer back to. Filipino, the veil, the special veil, that was the wedding that you and I did together. That was lovely. And LGBTQ, all of it all comes into play. There's all these certain things that you want to know because you want them, I have chills. You want them to feel that you're interested, because I am.
Thank you so much, Lynda. Lynda is going to give us our 5 quick tips on things that can help you make your wedding day a little less stressful.
Recommend to mom and dad, parents, to swap sides at the wedding. So when the bride is standing on this side and the groom is on this side, we would like for the parents to be able to see their son or daughter getting married. So you don't want to be behind them and see their back the whole time. Get your wedding license. Go to the clerk of the peace about 1 or 2 weeks before the wedding. They usually have a shelf life of about 30 to 60 days, depending on what state you're in. Just make sure it's not too close to the wedding date. And another thing would be to book your officiant at least 9 to 12 months in advance prior to the wedding. I just noticed that those dates, those good dates, are all taken care of really quick. When it's time to do the rings, ask your best man to take the rings out of the box, and so makes it really easy. So in the process of the ceremony, when I say, "May I have the rings, please?" you just drop them right into my hand, and I'm not fumbling with the boxes, and we just want it to be smooth and wonderful. And it's pretty much what I have to say about that's the tips.
Those are fantastic. I mean, the one about the parents, I've never thought of that myself, and that is really, really helpful because you don't want to look at like the child you've
I don't want to
raised.
see him at the back of my son when he's getting married. I want to see his face.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So they appreciate that.
So then the last thing we want to do, Lynda, is I have a few questions. Some get to know you, some about your business, some not so much. First thing that comes to your mind.
First thing that comes to my mind.
So what was the first ceremony you ever officiated like?
OMG. They never knew it either. I mean, I'm a good poker face. It was a couple who had initially been very Catholic, in their upbringing. And so they said, we want all the bells and whistles of like a Catholic ceremony. So I pulled out all the stops. We had those very Catholic-y, readings and prayers. And in hindsight, I should have maybe had somebody else come up to break up the sound of the voice. And so, but that was a long time. That was about 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is something people don't know about you?
If they haven't read the website thoroughly, because there's a little snippet on the website about me and my team, each associate. I used to sing lead in a rock and roll band.
Okay.
And that's where I met my husband. Well, that's where he met me.
Well, my next question was going to be, if you could do something else as a job, what would it be? I think I might have just got my answer.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I still do that. Sometimes
Okay.
I still do. I have an opportunity to do that. I come from a very musical background. My husband's a bassist. My son plays drums. So every once in a while, we've gotten together and done some family things like that. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
What is your favorite TV show?
Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm going.
What is your favorite dessert?
That would be rice pudding.
If you could go and officiate a wedding anywhere, where would you go?
Italy.
Okay.
In a heartbeat. My dream is to go to Europe and do destination weddings.
What is the best reaction you've ever gotten from a client?
Wow. And that happened. It happens a lot. I mean, that's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, right after a wedding that I did about a month or two ago, I went to give the license to the couple, and the bride and the groom were in this little room, and I looked at the mom and I hugged everybody, and as soon as I saw the groom, he comes to me and he goes to hug me, and he's got these tears coming out of his eyes. He's like, "Oh my God." He says, "That was amazing. That was just amazing." And he was one of those football burly kind of, and that touched me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lynda, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
You are welcome, my friend.
So Lynda Daring Celebrations and Ceremonies. All of her information will be below if you need an officiant for your wedding, especially if you're in Italy. Just saying. So thank you again for watching. If you want more wedding planning tips, tune in every week. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. We're here every week. So happy planning.